1. The Anarchist Cookbook, Recipes for Rebellion. First up, The Anarchist Cookbook, the book that's like a rebellious teenager's diary, crossed with a cookbook for chaos. Written by William Powell in the turbulent 1970s. This guide is what happens when you mix Han Solo's swagger with Gordon Ramsay's kitchen intensity. Forget cupcakes. This book serves up step-by-step recipes for bombs, weapons, and all sorts of naughty contraptions. It's like that overzealous science teacher who accidentally sets the lab on fire during a fun experiment. Born during the Cold War, when rebellion was in the air and revolution felt like a vibe, Powell's book wasn't just a thought experiment. It had real-world consequences, linked to acts of violence and mischief that made authorities sweat. Critics called it a danger to society, while free speech defenders saw it as a misunderstood rebel yell. But let's be honest, when your kid's turning a pipe into a bazooka, it's not exactly a literary masterpiece, banned in many places. This book's legacy is a warning handle with care, or you might blow up more than just your ego. Pro tip, stick to baking cookies, not chaos. 2. The Satanic Verses, a Divine Controversy. Next, The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie, a book that sparked more than just debate. It lit a global firestorm. If you grab this Oz at a yard sale, thinking it's a guide to summoning demons, you're in for a letdown. It's not about devil deals, but it's just as controversial, especially in religious circles. The story follows two guys surviving a plane explosion, only to sprout wings and hallucinate their way into a fantasy RPG. One becomes an angel, the other a devil, and things get wild. The angel Gabriel relives the life of the Prophet Muhammad. And here's where the trouble starts. Rushdie's reimagining suggests Satan slipped a few verses into the Quran, Islam's holiest book, turning sacred text into a devilish prank. To many Muslims, this was blasphemous, like someone tossing your grandma's ashes at a house party. In 1918, Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini issued a fatwa, a death warrant, sending Rushdie into hiding from assassins. Protests erupted. Libraries hid the book like it was cursed treasure, and the Islamic community felt mocked and betrayed. Yet, in non-religious circles, it's a literary gem, sparking debates about faith and free speech. It's like being the life of the party and the party pooper all at once. 3. 120 Days of Sodom, the Ultimate Taboo. Hold on to your hats, because 120 Days of Sodom by Marquis de Sade makes 50 Shades of Grey look like a Pixar flick. This book isn't just R-rated, it's off the charts, somewhere in XXX territory. Picture a group of rich guys, holed up in a castle, not for a tea party, but for every depraved fantasy known to humanity. They round up 9 boys and girls and subject them to 120 days of unspeakable acts. Even Johnny Sins wouldn't touch this script. De Sade didn't hold back, serving up a buffet of taboos, from sadism to masochism, with a side of outrage. It's like a circus, where morality takes a vacation and insanity runs the show. This book didn't just cross the line, it pole vaulted over it, becoming a forbidden novel that could give a nun a heart attack. Banned for its obscene content, it's a relic of excess that still shocks today. If you're looking for bedtime reading, maybe stick to Dr. Seuss. 4. Lady Chatterley's Lover, Steamy Scandal in Old England. Now, let's travel to 1920s England with Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence. Back then, showing an ankle was basically a scandal, but Lawrence said, "Hold my tea," and dropped a book, dripping with steamy romance and social satire. The story follows Lady Chatterley, stuck in a marriage so dull it makes watching paint dry sound thrilling. Her husband's paralyzed, unable to meet her, womanly needs. So she turns to Mellors, the rugged gamekeeper, who's basically a Men's Health cover model with abs for days. Their woodland affair is hot enough to fog up your glasses. But the book's real crime was poking fun at England's rigid class system. At a time when high-class women were expected to act like nuns, Lawrence's tale of scandalous love and cross-class romance was a slap to polite society. Banned for its explicit content and social critique, it shocked readers who weren't ready for such raw passion. It's like Bridgerton, but with more rebellion and fewer corsets. 5. The 48 Laws of Power Manipulation Masterclass. Next, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, a book that looks like self-help, but feels like a guide to ruling Westeros. This isn't your typical wake up early, journal your goals, TED Talk nonsense. It's a playbook for manipulating people, places, and situations to climb the corporate ladder or conquer your enemies. One law says, conceal your intentions, perfect for being the sneakiest coworker. Another, let others do the work, but take the credit. It's Game of Thrones, bone, without the dragons, banned in prisons, and some schools. This book's tactics are seen as too dangerous for impressionable minds. Imagine inmates turning the lunchroom into a scheming chessboard, or students plotting like Littlefinger in the cafeteria. While it's a hit with CEOs and rappers, its ruthless advice can feel like bringing a bazooka to a snowball fight. Use these laws wisely, or you'll end up with no friends and a corner office. 6. Lolita, A Twisted Tale of Obsession. Brace yourself for Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, a book that's as brilliant as it is unsettling. It drops you into the mind of Humbert, a deeply twisted man obsessed with a 12-year-old girl named Dolores, aka Lolita. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, knowing his moral compass is about to crash and burn. Nabokov's genius is making you squirm while marveling at his poetic prose. Humbert's not just a creep, he's a tragic clown, tripping over his own bad decisions, trying to justify his obsession. The book's not endorsing his actions, but exploring the darkest corners of a broken mind. Banned for its subject matter, it's been called everything from a masterpiece to a moral hazard. Schools and libraries yanked it, fearing it might corrupt young readers or normalize taboo ideas. It's like introducing porn to a monk and expecting him to stay chill. 7. Brave New World Dystopian Happiness Overdose. Welcome to Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, where everyone's happy, but it's a creepy kind of happy. In this dystopia, people pop a drug called soma to stay blissed out, suppressing real emotions. Babies are churned out on assembly lines like designer shoes, and society assigns you a caste like a dystopian Hogwarts. The government even controls your love life, swiping left on your Tinder until they pick your match. Sound familiar? It's like our world, with smartphones and algorithms keeping us distracted. Huxley's warning about trading freedom for convenience hit too close to home for some governments, banned in places, fearing it might inspire people to question their own happy bubbles. It's less a novel and more a prophecy. Elon's Neuralink might just make this our reality one day. 8. Animal Farm Barnyard Politics Gone Wild. George Orwell's Animal Farm is like Old MacDonald if it took a dark political turn. The animals fed up with humans, stage a revolution, kicking them out to run the farm themselves. No humans, no problems. Right, wrong, the pigs, led by Napoleon, seize power, declaring all animals are equal, but acting like they're more equal. They become the new oppressors, turning the farm into a pigsty of inequality. Orwell's horse satire skewers power-hungry leaders in revolutions that promise freedom but deliver dictators. Governments, especially during the Cold War, saw it as a jab at communism and banned it, fearing it might inspire people to eye their leaders like greedy hogs. If your pets start plotting, maybe don't read this at bedtime. 9. The Grapes of Wrath, Sour Times in the Great Depression. The Grapes of Wrath, by John Steinbeck, isn't about sweet fruit, but sour struggles. Set during the Great Depression, it follows the Joad family, farmers hit hard by dust storms and economic collapse. Steinbeck paints them not as wholesome heroes, but as gritty survivors, harvesting frowns instead of crops. The book's raw language, violence, and harsh realities were too much for 1940s conservatives who'd rather confess at church than admit they read it. Its critique of capitalism and portrayal of poverty felt un-American during a time when communism was the ultimate boogeyman. Authorities feared it might turn readers into rebels with a taste for social justice, banned in schools and libraries. It's a juicy tale that still packs a punch. Reading this is like biting into a grape and finding a whole lot of grit in Slaughterhouse 5, Time Travel with a Side of Truth. Last but not least, Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut, a book that's part sci-fi, part anti-war manifesto. It follows Billy Pilgrim, a soldier unstuck in time, hopscotching through history from the Dresden bombings to alien abductions. Written during the Cold War, when war was sold as American as apple pie, Vonnegut's dark humor and existential dread felt like a hippie protest at a military parade. The book's raw depiction of war's horrors mixed with satire and uncomfortable truths made it a target. Some saw it as a sneaky call to swap rifles for daisies, while others just couldn't handle its blend of comedy and trauma. Banned in schools for its bold stance, it's a literary gut punch that still resonates. Vonnegut didn't just write a book, he dropped a truth bomb. And there you have it, 10 banned books that shook the world and rattled some cages from explosive recipes to dystopian warnings. These stories pushed boundaries and paid the price. What makes a book too dangerous to read? Is it the ideas, the words, or the fear of what they might spark? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us which banned book you'd sneak a peek at. If this literary rebellion got you hooked, smash that thumbs up, share with your bookworm buddies, and subscribe for more epic breakdowns. Until next time, stay curious, keep reading, and maybe don't tell the librarian what's on your shelf. Peace out.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, drop a comment below, and please like, share, and subscribe my channel.